Hello, my name is Maddie and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist with Old Town Hypnotherapy. Today is March the 17th and today is World Sleep Day. And the theme of World Sleep Day this year is sleep is essential for health. So I thought it fitting today to talk a little bit about what happens when we don't sleep and what we can do about not sleeping. We regularly see clients in clinic who are suffering from insomnia or the ability to enjoy a decent night's sleep. People may struggle to fall asleep, they may struggle to stay asleep, or both. And this lack of sleep is incredibly disruptive to all of life. We know that sleep is the foundations of our mental and physical well-being. So even if you're somebody who's never suffered from a chronic insomnia issue, most of us know what it feels like when we haven't had a good night's sleep. Actually, I think probably all of us. The brain fog, the lethargy, the irritability, the reduced concentration, the sugar cravings, just some of what we encounter when we don't have a good sleep. In clinic, we treat insomnia as a symptom rather than a standalone issue. The underlying issue needs resolving, and that inevitably is what we like to describe as a full bucket, a full stress bucket. So every negative thought we have in our day goes into our stress bucket. Okay, so we have a negative thought. We all have them. Work's being annoying, a colleague, traffic's making us late, the children have lost their sports kit, one of our relatives are poorly, whatever it might be. All those thoughts go into our stress buckets. We all have negative thoughts and they go into our bucket. Because we're human, not only do we have the worries of today, but we've got that ability to forecast. And if we forecast it with a worry, if we negatively forecast, it goes into our bucket. And we also have the ability to negatively introspect, to look back over yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Can't believe I did that. Can't believe I said that. Can't believe that happened. Whatever it might be, the worry, we put that in our bucket as well. We have a super mechanism of emptying our lovely full stress buckets. And we empty our stress bucket of worries during rapid eye movement sleep at night. So rapid eye movement sleep is a certain section of our sleep cycles. And during rapid eye movement sleep, our anterior cingulate, the bit that I always in clinic refer to as our secretary, wakes up and files all the stuff that's in the bucket and files it into the memory centres in our anterior cingulate. So when you might have been told by your parents, your mum or your dad, or what you might say to your children is sleep on it, you'll feel better tomorrow. And that is scientifically accurate because during that rapid eye movement sleep, we remove that, empty that emotional bucket, and we wake up and we feel better. However, if our thought processes are particularly negative, and we're having an awful lot of worrying thoughts in our day, our bucket gets really full. And when our buckets get very full, the amygdala, the limbic system, what I like to call the security guard bit of the brain, becomes alerted to a potential threat. This part of the brain back here, the amygdala, the limbic system, the hippocampus, hypothalamus, it isn't logical. It isn't analytical, not like our prefrontal cortex here. It can't understand what all this stuff is in your bucket. It simply senses that this bucket is just very full and therefore interprets that as danger lurking, danger imminent. So stress neurotransmitters are increased in the bloodstream, ready for our flight, fight or freeze response to kick in, our survival mechanisms. So we might start to feel tearful or jittery or snappy or just low mood, all signs that our bucket is getting a little bit high. It may even start to overflow the bucket, possibly resulting in a panic attack. Now we know good sleep will help. Rapid eye movement empties the bucket. But this is where we can get into a bit of a muddle, because if our bucket is too full, our primitive brain, that security guard bit at the back, doesn't understand all the worries in our bucket. Not logical, not analytical, not a sensible bit of our brain back here. It can't work out what all that stuff in the bucket is. It just interprets a full bucket as danger. It's a red flag. This bucket is full, something scary is around. So sleeping is not a good idea. There's danger lurking. It's not safe to sleep. So sleep, as far as the primitive brain is concerned, is a surefire way to end up in the jaws of a saber-toothed tiger, and therefore becomes really quite dangerous to fall asleep. So the brain will prioritise the very important recovery sleep that we need to function, usually the first couple of hours. A few hours of necessary deep sleep is, if you like, allowed often by the primitive part of the brain. And then it will wake us up with a shot of adrenaline, so we're ready and alert to check the area, make sure that predator isn't about to jump out on us. We struggle then to get back to sleep with that adrenaline in our system. And we might get a bit more light sleep, but we don't get any more of the good stuff. And then we get into a bit of a chicken and egg situation because we don't empty our stress bucket properly because we're not getting enough sleep. So we're starting the day and we've already got a lot of yesterday's stuff in our bucket. And then we're going to fill it up again with a whole lot of other stuff that's going on. So we get into a situation where the bucket is very full. Very quickly, the brain senses danger, we're on high alert, we become hypervigilant, it won't let us sleep, chicken and egg, we go round in circles. And we can probably remember times in our life where this has happened to us, where we're going through a stressful time, we're not sleeping, and we're really struggling with life. I think it happens to all of us at different times. So for people who have experienced that insomnia, sleep itself, if you like, becomes the predator. And what I mean by that is, so we may have sorted through, maybe job redundancies are coming up, and maybe that threat passes. So we've dealt with the full bucket because the situation is resolved. But sleep becomes the problem then, because we start to worry just before we go to bed. Because of that period of insomnia that we had around the redundancies, we start to worry, oh, we're not going to sleep tonight. We negatively forecast another dreadful night's sleep. Remember, our brains go where we tell them to go. Our brains, I often describe them as a bit like a sat-nav. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because we're worrying about getting to sleep, we're worrying about staying asleep, we're anticipating we probably won't. So our brain interprets that as an instruction, and the worry goes in our bucket and fills it up, and we therefore go into sleep in a negative mindset. And we worry that if we don't sleep and we've got that big meeting, and if we don't sleep we might perform badly, and if we perform badly we might be overlooked for the promotion, and what if we lose our jobs because we're so tired, and the bucket fills and spirals. So danger is registered, bedtime has become a bit of a battle. So even if you have a fairly healthy bucket during your day, if you're thinking about sleep negatively, you'll fill it up, and there'll be no time to engage in healthy activities that help us to regulate our stress buckets. Things like exercising, socialising, being productive. The same goes for overthinking about anything negative. Often we do that when we go to bed. We haven't got distractions, we lie there, we go over things, we start overthinking, we fill up our bucket. It results in disturbed sleep. So what can we do about it? There are lots of resources online that talk about sleep hygiene and healthy sleep and what we can do, so it's worth trying some of those. Here are 6 things that I think are key to focus on. The first one, thinking better during the day. Challenge your negative thoughts, turn them around, reframe them, protect your bucket. The less you can put in there, the better. So just prevent things from going in there that don't need to go in there. Change the perspective. Remind yourself you can deal with things. It's going to be okay. Number 2, do things to empty your bucket. We've talked about exercise, massively important for emptying the bucket. Socialising with friends that make us feel good. Being productive, ticking off our to-do list. Having a routine, eating well, engaging in self-care, showing kindness to yourself and to others. Noticing the little tiny small joys in every day. And exercise, in case you missed that one. It's really important. Number 3, reframe your sleep. Take the fear away, the frustration away from not sleeping. Remind yourself you'll cope. You always do. Even if you don't have a good night's sleep, you're going to be okay. You'll get through it. Remember all the times you've slept well in your life. You're very capable of sleeping well. It's all about retraining your brain that bed is safe, sleep is safe. Don't look at the clock unless you can look at it in a positive way, changing that thought, changing, oh my goodness, there's only 3 hours until the morning and my alarm, to brilliant, I've got 3 whole hours to enjoy some sleep until my alarm. Challenging those thoughts, turning them round. Number 4, listen to one of our therapeutic audios or any meditative or relaxing audios. There's a wealth of them online. And listen to them as you drift off. The science tells us this helps. Put it back on if you wake up in the night. Number 5, be careful about sleeping pills. They have a time and a place, but there is a difference between healthy sleep and sedation. They do restrict rapid eye movement sleep, so we can get into a muddle with them. So treat them with care. And number 6, we all know this, but caffeine is an issue. Try and avoid caffeine either altogether. I've already had one coffee today. I think I'm about to have another one, so I'm not brilliant at that. But I do stop drinking it before about 11 because I am aware that it will disrupt our sleep, because caffeine has a really long shelf life. And it does actually depend on the individual, but anywhere between 5 and 12 hours. And it depends on lots of things. If you're a smoker, you get rid of it more quickly for whatever biological reason. Pregnant women are much longer to get rid of it. Anyway, it hangs around in the body for a really long time. And it's a stimulant and it inhibits sleepiness. Again, problems arise in the kind of chicken and egg thing. We don't sleep well, so we increase our caffeine consumption to get through the day, and that in turn disrupts our sleep further. The importance of a good night's sleep is, like, it can't be overemphasized really. It is the foundations, the building blocks of good health. Poor sleep is linked to all-cause mortality. Not a good thing. Too little, or actually too much sleep is a problem as well. They're significant predictors of death, according to a 2010 meta-analysis study. We know it's important. Prioritise it. If you're facing insomnia and you've tried lots of things, think about getting some help for it. We offer completely free initial consultations. They last about an hour. We talk through a lot more stuff about how the brain is working, why we're not struggling to sleep. So if anybody does need help, do get in touch. Have a good World Sleep Day and sleep well. Bye-bye.